When Demolition Man was released in theaters in 1993, it was considered a film of the early 1990s and was a literal representation of what the late 1980s and early 1990s were like in California or even the United States as a country. The viewers then and now have remarked at the themes, concepts and notions presented in the film, as they were eerily similar to what was later depicted, shown, or known in the modern United States. But one of the most insignificant references mentioned was Taco Bell being the only fast food restaurant still in existence at the time the movie takes place. But the speculative scenario is this: how did Taco Bell survive the franchise wars in Demolition Man? Lieutenant Leanna Huxley mentioned to Spartan about the situation in the early 21st century on what eventually led to the franchise wars of the 2020s, with Taco Bell in the United States on Pizza Hut internationally surviving on becoming the only fast food restaurant chain. Spartan scoffs at Taco Bell / Pizza Hut being the only fast food choice available from what was known back in 1996. Raymond Cocteau formerly invited him to Taco Bell for dinner, and he was even more gobsmacked at the entire take on Taco Bell being a formal dining experience with the most elite of San Angeles citizens attending a banquet of tacos, nachos, and other related American interpretations of Spanish and Mexican-based cuisine. Dialogue references by Huxley mention that the franchise wars originated in the 1980s or 1990s, with the diversification of fast food in the United States on the sheer choice of selections available as confirmed by Spartan's claims. Huxley further mentioned that the sheer saturation in the fast food market led to the franchise wars that lasted the entire decade of the 2020s, with all of the related corporations spending millions of dollars for advertisements in the United States as well as internationally, with public opinions eventually settling with Taco Bell / Pizza Hut, and it later became the survivor through buyouts of other brands, bankruptcies of other related companies, and popular opinions preferring the Taco Bell / Pizza Hut experience. Screenwriter Daniel Walters mentioned in interviews that Taco Bell wasn't his original choice to survive the franchise wars in Demolition Man. Earlier screenplays had Burger King as the surviving chain, but officials in the company refused. Then McDonald's representatives refused as well. Eventually, Taco Bell was asked if they wanted to be depicted in the movie, as they decided to allow product placement in the United States version of the film. Despite the fact that Taco Bell had been in the fast food business since the 1960s in the United States, it wasn't until the 1990s, on the exposure from the film, that made it more prominent in American popular culture. From information now known, all the other fast food brands later regretted not being affiliated in the movie due to the concerns of Demolition Man being one of the best films of the 1990s. Outside of the United States, Taco Bell wasn't well known internationally. The first Taco Bell location in Europe was in 2008 in Spain, 15 years after the movie was originally released. To this day, in some regions of the world, Taco Bell isn't well known, and when the United States version of Demolition Man is watched in these countries, they don't exactly know the difference or even references of Taco Bell, nor the satire that it mocks from the United States in the early 1990s. Pizza Hut was selected for the European theater audiences, as the first location in Europe was in 1973 in the United Kingdom, 20 years before the movie was originally released.